Hi there, Malcolm here with my 213th BookTube video, and today I'll be bringing you a review of The Dispatcher trilogy by John Scalzi. 3 Audible novellas that are currently free: The Dispatcher, Murder by Other Means, and Travel by Bullet. Now, I've been listening to the Commonwealth Saga by Peter F. Hamilton on Audible, and I just finished book 1, Pandora's Star, and I still had quite a few days before the next Audible credit turned up, and so I just looked to see what was free. Now, John Scalzi has become a new favourite of mine, and so I noticed that there was a story called The Dispatcher, which is only about 4 hours long. I thought I could manage that before the credit arrives. Let's give it a go. And we follow a person who is a dispatcher, who is involved in an investigation into the disappearance of another dispatcher. And in this world, for reasons that nobody knows, people can no longer be successfully murdered. If a person is murdered by another person, then their body and the mess vanishes, and an intact, alive body reappears somewhere safe, generally in the person's home, in their bed, alive and well, although with a rather graphic memory of themselves being murdered. This has been going on for a few years, and although it's never really been accepted or trusted, it's now a way of life, and so official dispatchers have been appointed, men and women who will stand by, generally in places like hospitals where there's surgery going on, where if the surgery is not going well and they're going to lose the patient due to an accident, which would cause a permanent death, a dispatcher would step in and murder the patient. The body would then disappear, and the patient will then reappear at home, alive and well, alive, although still needing whatever surgery they needed in the first place, but with the upshot that the surgeons now know what went wrong the first time round, and so there'll be a better chance of success next time round. Now, of course, not anyone can be a dispatcher. You've got to have a certain psyche to step in and to shoot someone dead, as well as having the knowledge that there is for some reason, again, no one knows why, a 1 in 1,000 chance of the dispatch not working and the person just stays dead as if they've been killed normally before the current situation has arisen. And despite how short this book is, it's actually very rich in lore. There's, I won't say exposition per se, but I mean, it is exposition, but there's a lot of exploration into this world, as dispatcher Tony Valdez, our main character, aids the police in their inquiries, and indeed the police officer that he ends up working with in a pseudo consultancy type way has a lot of questions about dispatching and how it all works. And of course, Tony only has some of the answers. He doesn't know why it happens, he just knows that it does, and what his day-to-day life is like. And needless to say, like with any occupation, there are perhaps fringe benefits or alternate sources of income if you're not going to ask too many questions, in practices that are sort of dubious at best and downright outrageously legal at worst. And of course, Tony is very cagey about whether or not he's ever participated in such acts. But it turns out that this missing dispatcher may have been involved in one such a thing, and his disappearance may be as a result of that. So it's part investigation, deduction, going around questioning people, but it's also part learning about this new world and the rules, as it were, of this new reality. I absolutely love this. I didn't know what to expect when I went into it, but I was thoroughly impressed. So much so that I then downloaded and listened to books 2 and 3. So book 2, Murder by Other Means, is as it suggests. You can't just downright murder someone anymore because of the respawning result, 999 times out of 1,000 anyway. And so Tony does one of these side jobs, and everyone who is present at the procedure starts ending up being murdered. Except people can't be murdered, except that they are. And so it's a new investigation. He teams up with his partner from the first adventure, and off they go again, investigating, and we're finding out a little bit more about Tony's world and about the rules and restrictions of this new respawning thing that happens. Absolutely brilliant. And the third one, Travel by Bullet. We have a recurring acquaintance for the first 2 books. So he's another dispatcher, but certainly one who's very happy to deal in the more nefarious aspects of his reality. And this time he ends up in quite a spot of bother. There's a memory stick involved, some very powerful people involved. Everyone wants his head. And of course, Tony finds himself stuck in the middle of it. And again, ends up teaming up with his police partner from the first 2 books, where she's far less trusting of him, basically because he keeps lying to her. But there you go. And yeah, another absolutely amazingly tight, exciting and interesting story. Now, Tony is a really interesting character. He plays his cards very close to his chest. He's one of these reluctant heroes. He doesn't want to be involved, but always gets dragged in somehow. And he does develop this interesting relationship with this police officer who he keeps having to work with. Though the fact that he keeps lying to her doesn't really help things. And yeah, these, like I said, are only about 4 hours long each, but do pack a surprising quantity of material into them. Collection of the 3 or more. I really hope there'll be more in this series. No reason why there can't be. Hell, this could be the next TV cop show. I think it would do really well. Don't have to necessarily stick to the original stories, but there's certainly the world that John Scalzi's created here is really interesting, really fantastic. And I like that there are no answers. You know, we don't know the why. We don't know what's caused it, whether it's God, whether it's some glitch in the Matrix or alien intervention. We don't know. There's not even a hint, as far as I'm aware, why what happens, and why it's only 999 times out of 1,000 guaranteed going to work. And that despite the fact the world has changed, people are still people with their foibles and greeds and wants and desires and failures and successes. You know, they're not all bad, but they're certainly complex, which makes these books really good. So obviously booktastic throughout. Highly recommend these. And like I said, they are free, or were last time I looked. Yep, they are still free, and I think 4 hours is a bit generous. They're not even as long as that. And also they are read beautifully by Zachary Quinto, or Spock from the more recent Star Trek movies, or Sylar from the Heroes TV show. And I thought he did an excellent job at reading those. So have you tried the Dispatcher? What did you think? Comments down below, please. Or what hidden gems have you found on Audible? Well, there you go. That is the Dispatcher series by John Scalzi. I highly recommend them. It'd be great to have more people talking about them. But as usual, if you have nothing nice to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and other YouTubey things if you want to. And until next time, see you later.